family, it's the Ladder Podcast, and it's your host, Justin Strickland. I'm back with another banger for your body, banger for your ears, banger for your mind. I'm super excited to be here on the Ladder Podcast. If this is your first time, welcome to the family. You are now part of Crew Excellence. This is a podcast all about leadership. It's all about how you can become a better leader in your personal life, your professional life, and your social life as well. We want you to be your best self. And so if you're here for growth, you're in the right place. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe so you can get more content. It comes out weekly and we got some fire stuff on the way. And so I don't want you to miss out. So please do so. And if this will help someone else, I want you to go ahead and share it. Okay, go ahead and share it. It don't cost you nothing but a couple clicks, and I would be greatly in your debt. Okay, without further ado, let's jump in to this episode. Today, I am going to be breaking down the 7 Habits of Highly Successful People by Stephen Covey. We're going to talk about each habit, how you can use all of them so you can be super effective in your life. Because I think right now, as leaders in this world today, we're looking around and it feels like everything is going to hell in a handbasket, right? It looks like things are falling apart all around us. And we want to figure out ways how we can be effective, how we can make change for ourselves, but also for our people and our community and our world. And so this book is a New York Times bestseller. Everybody loves it. They talk so highly about it. I thought I would want to bring it to you just in case you haven't got a chance to read it. You might have heard about it, but you haven't got around to it. I want to bring it to the pod and let's just talk about it on the ladder, okay? Because this stuff is helpful. I have read 3 of his books and they all are really, really good and they are super effective. Play on word, right? Into changing your life. And so let's jump right into it. Number 1, be proactive. What does that mean? Right? That's a buzzword. Be proactive. Be proactive is very simple. All we're saying here, right, is if you see an issue, find a solution. You don't wait for someone to tell you they need a solution. You don't even wait for someone to tell you that there's an issue. If you see it, you're proactively solving it. Okay? And so that starts with me. Right? If there are issues in my personal life, instead of waiting for someone to tell me there's an issue or someone telling me how to solve it, I proactively identify the issue and find solutions. Right? So that's for me, for my family. I say all the time, for me as a husband, with my wife, I am proactively trying to remove obstacles from her life. So I'm looking at what she wants to do, what she wants to be, who she is now, and I'm proactively looking down the line, trying to remove obstacles from that path. And because I want to be an effective husband, I want to be an effective leader in my marriage. And so I'm trying to move all these things aside so that she has a clear path to be successful. That goes to your job, that goes to your career, to your business, right? You have to be proactive. And when you do this repeatedly and often, 2 things happen. 1, you are refining your critical thinking skills because as you're looking into the future to solve problems and issues, or you're solving issues today that other people have identified, you have time to trial and error different solutions. And so you're able to critically think. And if you do that over and over, it's like a muscle. You get better and better at it. That's one thing that happens. The second thing that happens is you get better at identifying issues. And people that can identify issues get paid a lot of money. Okay? They get paid a lot of money. People that troubleshoot businesses, troubleshoot companies, troubleshoot people's lives, they make a lot of money doing that because that is a skill. And so if you're proactive, you're being proactive, you're refining that skill that is highly valuable in the marketplace. Okay? So that's even if you have your own business, you being able to troubleshoot issues is highly valuable for your business because you can streamline things and get things to product, get things to services way faster and with much more quality because you've honed that skill. Number 2, begin with the end in mind. And so this is not outcome-based thinking, right? Like we talked about last week. This is process-based thinking, but moving towards a goal. So, for example, we talked about losing weight. Beginning with the end in mind, how much weight do I want to lose? Say it's 20 pounds. Okay, I want to lose 20 pounds. If you go on MyFitnessPal, no free shout outs. I need the bread, man. Send it over. They tell you how many pounds are healthy to lose a week. It's about 2 pounds a week. So that means if you begin with, you want to lose 20 pounds, that means you got 10 weeks to do it. So all my ladies and fellas trying to get ready for weddings, you need to lose 20 pounds. It take you about 10 weeks. And I would build in a buffer week, okay? You 2 pounds a week. What do you have to do to lose those 2 pounds a week? You have to work out 3 times a week? Bet. You need to schedule that. You need to eat a certain way, eat a certain amount of calories a day? Bet. You need to do that. You need to eat a certain type of food for your body, and then those are things you need to do. So you have a process built around your goal. And the reason that this is what effective people do is because they are able to cast vision with a destination in mind and work backwards to create process. And because their vision has a destination in mind, their processes make sense to move towards that destination. Because too often how many people of us have worked for jobs where you're like, why are we doing this? What does this have to do with anything? And usually it's because someone has created a process without an end goal in mind. This is something they did at another job. This is something they saw somebody else do. This is something they read in a book. And it does nothing to move you towards your end goal, right? If you're able to work to retroactively produce processes with an end goal in mind, then you're able to have processes that are effective and make sense for the people around you. So that's number 2, begin with the end in mind, okay? Number 3, put the first things first. I got to put me first, man. Put the first things first, okay? Keep things priority. And what I mean by that is I love the 4 quadrant, okay? I don't know if you've ever seen this square. There are things that are very important and very urgent. There are things that are very important and not as urgent, right? There are things that are not as important and very urgent. And there are things that are not important and not urgent. Okay? So it's a 4 box. Just walk with me. I hope Nate may be able to put this on the screen. All right. As effective leaders, we never, ever spend time on things that are not important and not urgent. Okay? Effective leaders, we can't do it. We can't spend time on those things. Okay? We almost never spend time on things that are not important but urgent. Okay? We sometimes spend time on things that are very important and not urgent. And we always spend time on things that are very important and very urgent. And so that is how we keep the first things first. That's how we prioritize our time, our talent, our energy. And we're constantly, and it's the thing, that square is not rigid, right? That depends on position, what you're doing in the company, what you're doing in life, and that depends on everybody in the company. So everybody in the company's box looks different. There might be something for you that is not important, not urgent. But for someone in another position, it could be very important and very urgent, right? So everybody has their own box. So I'm not saying somebody has to do those things, just not you, okay? That's just what it comes down to. Just not you. You're not doing those things. Somebody else, it has to be in there very important, very urgent for it to get done, okay? So that's why having job descriptions and stuff is very important. So people know exactly what should go in that very important, very urgent box, okay? So number 3, put first things first. You got to have priorities, and you got to know what gets you to where you want to be the most effective and streamlined way, so you're not wasting time and talent, okay? Number 4, think win-win. This is a huge one. And I really needed help with this because I grew up competitive as all get out, and I still am. I went to play ball today, and I don't even know how many times we lost because I have to erase it from my memory, so I'm not mad, okay? So I'm very competitive, but when we talk about doing life and being a leader, think win-win. What is the solution that gets me what I need and gets you what you need? I'm not trying to beat you. I'm not trying to lose and you lose. There is a way for us both to win. And what does that look like? Effective leaders are excellent at this. They're able to create value for you and themselves, right? And present it in a way that we both walk away feeling like, man, we won that deal. right? I got something for value. He got something for value. And that is why I like dealing with him. If you do win-win deals all the time, who wouldn't want to do a deal with you? Who wouldn't want to work with you? Who would be like, nah, I don't want to work with that company because I'm a win. That sounds stupid, right? So if you're an effective leader and you create win-win solutions all the time, everybody's going to want to come to your table because they know they're going to leave with something. They're going to leave with a win, right? And that works for marriage too, relationships too. If you're in friendships, if you're in relationship with your wife or with your parents, if you're able to present win-win solutions, then they'll love coming to the table to talk with issues about you, and you're able to solve stuff a lot easier because they're not afraid of losing. Because at the end of the day, we all on the same team. If I'm an effective leader, I'm on the team of making you better. And so you getting a win today is all part of my goal. It's all part of my end solution is for you to be your best self. And so I need you to come to the table and leave with the win. But I'm not doing it to sacrifice my win. I'm making sure we both get it. And that's what effective leaders do. All right. Number 5, seek first to understand and then to be understood. Okay? Tap somebody in the back and tell them, repeat that to them. Seek first to understand and then to be understood. What that means is when someone is talking, instead of coming up with the dopest response and comeback, you're just listening. You just listen. And I've discovered the reason why people often don't listen isn't because they don't care. A lot of times it's because they don't like silence. They don't like pauses. And so they're half listening, half coming up with a response so that there's not a pause in the conversation. Good listeners have no problem being like, that's interesting. Let me think about that for a second. Let me process that. Can you say that again? Because I'm still processing that point. Or when you said this, can you give me some further clarification on that? Because I'm really trying to understand where you're coming from. Wait a minute. You said this. Is that what you meant? Great listeners, people that seek to understand, they're always rephrasing what people say. They're always repeating back what people say because they really want to make sure they don't misunderstand you. Because that's more important than you understanding me. If you're the talker and I'm the listener, what's most important for me as the listener is to understand what you're saying. It is not to formulate a rebuttal so you understand what I'm about to say. That's not my job as a listener. Then when we flip, now it's my job to use what I've understood and I've clarified and I've gotten further definition on to formulate a response that helps you understand me, okay? And so seek first to understand and then to be understood. That is a great quality in life for leaders and non-leaders alike. And you know how we do at Crew Excellence. Non-leaders don't exist. We're talking about the fish, all right? So because everybody's a leader, that's a great skill for us all to have. Seek to understand and then to be understood. All right, let's go. Number 6, synergize. This might be a word that you're not familiar with. All synergy means is to bring things together. So if you, as an effective leader, you synergize, what you're able to do is balance the differences between your stakeholders, your customers, and the people who got seats at the table. Because what you'll realize when you're in companies and in businesses is that the customer wants something, the employee wants something, the investors need something. And what effective leaders do is synergize all those needs. They create a product customers want, an environment employees like to work in, and profits that investors love. The best leaders do that at a crazy high scale. And what happens is when you are great at synergy, you can go anywhere and build something that's successful because you can take a step back, talk to key stakeholders, see what they want, write them down, bring them all together, and develop systems and processes that meet all their needs. And what I love about synergy and the ideal of doing this as an action, right, as a leader, is when you're creating synergistic systems, they outlive any individual people. So your employees might change, your customers might change, your investors might change. But because your systems are synergistic, your business will maintain, your company will maintain, your movement will maintain success because you develop systems that take everybody's identities in mind. Okay? And so synergize is habit number 6. And now to the last habit, sharpen the saw. Sharpen the saw. And what that means is there are things that only you can do. There are things that the Lord formed you. He thought about you. He was very particular with you, and he designed you with gifts, abilities, and talents that only you have. Effective leaders know those gifts and talents, and they sharpen the saw. They sharpen the saw. They develop those gifts and talents. They develop them to the point where they do what they do better than anybody else can. And I love the sharpen the saw analogy, right? Because when you get to the time to use a saw, right? What do we all hope when we pull the saw out and it's time to cut something? We hope that the saw cuts easy, right? We hope that we hit the saw, we 1, we 2, we 3, and we done because it's sharp. That's how businesses and companies view us and our talent. They want to send one email and stuff get done. They want to have one Teams meeting and stuff gets done. They want to have one meeting in passing. Hey, could you work on this? I need some extra help. And you send an email 30 minutes later. Hey, this is what you need. It's done. Because when you are sharp, everybody's going to keep reaching for you, right? Like at my house right now, I got one sharp knife. When it's dirty, instead of getting another knife that's dull, I'll clean it off. I'll take the time to clean that sharp knife off and use that before I reach for the knife that's clean and dull. And so as for us in our workplaces, you can be present, but if your gifts and talents, you're not improving them, you're not sharpening your saw, people will bypass you for someone who is and who does sharpen their saw. That's why so many businesses use consultants, because consultants are actively sharpening their saw. They're hiring coaches, they're going to conferences, they're getting certifications, they're making sure that they're getting further knowledge so that when they're called upon, they're effective, right? And too often in companies, we allow our saws to dull. We become dull because we just got in the day-to-day cutting. I just want to cut today, I cut tomorrow. Cut today, I cut tomorrow. We never take time to make sure we can cut effectively and efficiently, okay? So the last one is sharpen your saw. And that's mentally, physically, whole person. Take everything into account and become as sharp as possible. Every day, every week, every quarter, there should be something you're doing that's making you better, as further improving what you're naturally good at, what your natural talents are, what your natural gifts are. And those are the 7 habits of highly effective people. I'm going to run through them one more time just so you can hear them and write them down. Number 1, be proactive. Number 2, begin with the end in mind. Number 3, put first things first. Number 4, think win-win. Number 5, seek first to understand and then to be understood. Number 6, synergize. And number 7, sharpen the saw. Those are the 7 habits of highly effective people. Shout out to Stephen Covey and all his people that worked on the book. Shout out to Crew Excellence, because I know this was all you needed. You got these 7, you about to hit the ground running. You're going to be highly effective, all right? And I can't wait for that. Drop in a comment which habit you think is the one you needed to hear today. Which out of the 7, just pick one. Which was the one you like, hey, that's the one I needed to hear today. That's going to change my life. As always, I'm honored that you spent some time with me because you can do anything. You could be anywhere. YouTube has millions of video posted every day, and you decided to watch mine. And, I'm floored. I'm stunned. I'm shocked. And I hope I delivered some value for you today. I'm Justin Strickland, the host of the Ladder Podcast. I'll probably be hanging out with your mama because I'm her favorite member. And until then, I'm out, man. Peace.